Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Welcome to Monday Musings-Danny SportsWrap. It's presented by Dillon's Heating and Cooling. Make sure to check out Jeff Dillon and his fine crew's great work for HVAC for all your different needs. Listen to the commercial. Go to the website. Do all the things that you need to do to make sure that your house is perfectly cool in the summer and perfectly warm in the winter, and all the things that you need to make that happen at Dillon's Heating and Cooling. And ordinarily, maybe after a holiday weekend, I'd be saying I hope you had a great holiday weekend. But of course, Monday Musings comes on Monday, and we still have a holiday. So you are still having a holiday weekend, and I hope this is part of your holiday weekend and enjoying it. And we've already had most of our weekend, and it's been a pretty entertaining and full sports weekend, to say the least, with a lot of holiday feel to it. A lot of great stuff to talk about. Saturday was a festival of soccer, at least in my world. Champions League final was played in the afternoon. Sporting Kansas City celebrated a holiday weekend with their first full house allowed in well over a year, and a big crowd of over 20,000 turned out and saw Sporting play great soccer as they continue to roll. And then the Royals wrapped up a feel-good weekend with a win on Sunday in Minnesota, taking their first series in the Twin Cities for the first time since 2017, and make it a pretty good road trip. That was a swing game. You lose the game, that means you lose two series in a row on the trip, and instead you get one series out of the two, and you get a 3-all split, and that's a pretty good road trip all in all. So lots of good things to talk about, and I hope I'm a great part, or at least a good part, of your holiday and your holiday weekend right here on Monday Musings, Danny SportsWrap, and it's presented by Dillon's Heating and Cooling.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
The bitter cold snap in February was just another intense reminder of how important it is to have a quality heating and cooling company on your side. That's why you need to know about my friends at Dillon's Heating and Cooling. Jeff Dillon and his top-quality staff provide honest, affordable, and reliable service all year long. Their number one priority is taking care of the customer and focus on being genuine, always following through and standing behind what they say and do. If you need HVAC or AC repair, it's important you get help from a team of professionals. Dillon's Heating and Cooling's team can walk you through a range of products, the advantages of heating and cooling systems, and ultimately help you find the best HVAC system for you. They're always glad to answer your questions and set up an appointment for an installation consultation. Whether you're looking to upgrade to a newer model of your current system or need one installed in a new home, give my friends at Dillon's Heating and Cooling a call today at 913-214-0529. That's 913-214-0529, or visit dillonsheatingandcooling.com to answer all of your questions. Dillon's Heating and Cooling. Their slogan is their goal, always treating you like family. Cinematic Visions has been an affordable solution for professional media production in Kansas City since 2003, offering award-winning video production and creation, as well as a wide array of digital and social media management services. From planning, scripting, filming, editing, and post-production, to delivering your product to a watching world, Cinematic Visions will provide professional and affordable services for you and your business with the necessary return on investment to make it all worthwhile. Cinematic Vision's goal is to unlock the power of storytelling through video and a strong online presence for your company. Beyond the numbers, they want to inspire and evoke your clients to feel and act. Let my friends at Cinematic Visions embed your brand where it belongs, in your customers' minds. You can find them online at cinematicvisions.com or with a quick phone call at 816-600-6300. We're here once again with Dr. Brad Woodall from Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture. Springtime, good weather's finally here. People want to stay active, and it's your job to make sure that they can stay active, and be healthy.
Danny, we see a lot of not just weekend warriors, but people that every day are having that want to get back to activity. Whether you're starting with walking, jogging, or maybe that first 5K of the year, we want to help you out. We specialize in taking care of all ages, from kids all the way to grandmas and grandpas, but absolutely specialize in getting you back to full function and keeping you in great shape.
So in short, how do we go about doing that?
The first thing is to schedule a consultation with one of our doctors and therapists so we can see how you move and how you're supposed to move. Based on our assessment, we can put together a short treatment plan and a set of goals to help you both feel better, function better, and most importantly, stay better for this year and many years to come.
Learn more at asfca.com/Danny. That's asfca.com/Danny. Most of us have experienced auto accidents, and it's no fun. And even less fun is trying to work on the insurance aspects afterwards and getting full value after an auto accident. I'm here with David Cowan from WreckExpert.com. And David, you have an unusual and important niche for people after an auto accident.
We have a passion to teach car wreck clients what they deserve. Getting your car repaired only fixes the damage and the paint. Getting paid for your car's loss in value is called diminished value. Chances are you've never heard of this before because most people aren't looking out for you. We help people collect thousands to tens of thousands of dollars for their car's loss in value after the wreck.
And if somebody wants to come to you for that, what's the original assessment cost them?
We offer a free review of any insurance claim to see how we can help.
You can't beat that. Great expertise and assistance in getting full value after an auto accident from David Cowan. Visit WreckExpert.com and learn more. If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at Danny@DannyKlinkScale.com. Look forward to hearing from you. Welcome back, and before we talk a little bit of baseball to start things off, I mentioned Memorial Day and how I hope you had a great Memorial Day and had a smile on your face during Memorial Day, but also it's very important, obviously, to point out that Memorial Day is a time to remember people who made their sacrifices. I know my wife and I watch a lot of Turner Classic Movies, that channel, and they had all war movies on over the weekend, so it's catching a lot of flavor of that. They had a lot of specials on PBS regarding that. Ernie Pyle, the great writer as far as World War II is concerned, and all kinds of different things. And I hope if you had a veteran or somebody who served in your family, you had a chance to thank them this weekend. I know across many sports there were things that were done to commemorate it, so just wanted to make sure that that aspect of Memorial Day is covered as well. Of course, we always look at it as sort of the unofficial start of summer, and the weather hasn't really cooperated with it being that, but we can always remember the real reason why Memorial Day is, in fact, a holiday and a holiday weekend because of the very important nature of the reason that it began. Well, the Royals were in Minnesota, as we mentioned before, over the holiday weekend, and they haven't had much holiday sunshine in Minnesota at Target Field over the years. They'd lost 7 consecutive series until this one. And frankly, this was a great series for the Royals to grab 2 out of 3 because they really didn't play particularly well in this series. They had a lot of defensive problems in the game on Saturday. They walked 7 batters in the game on Sunday, and they obviously got a little bit more offense, especially hitting with runners in scoring position. They did a good job in the series, which they hadn't been doing in the previous 25 games. I think they were close to 500 with runners in scoring position in this series. But they've really played some scratchy baseball in the series, and to take 2 out of 3, I think that was really good. I think maybe the game was yesterday's game, which the Royals obviously ended up winning by a score of 6-3, was kind of typified by Brad Keller. He ended up getting the win in the game, and he continues a decent run of pitching after a really bad start. But for Keller, he had 9 base runners allowed in his 5 innings, and he didn't throw a whole lot of strikes, and there were all kinds of things that weren't great. But the Royals did get 11 hits. They didn't strike out as much as they've been striking out in this series. That's another thing that I would mention as far as the fact that they didn't play that great. 4 times on the road trip, they struck out 10 or more times. But they were timely enough, and the pitchers were timely enough, and we'll get to Scott Barlow in a minute, who was just great. But the getting 2 out of 3 in this series, getting the split of the road trip, and then coming home to start the homestand with full capacity, as we'll talk about with Sporting Kansas City and already did a little bit, that should be fun. And Pittsburgh is the opponent, and they have not been good this year, and they've not been playing particularly good of late. Now, it's only a 2-game series, but perhaps the Royals' chance to get a little momentum. Adalberto Mondesi back and hitting, although no hits on Sunday. They call up Edwin Olivares, and he provides a little bit of a spark on Sunday. So there were some good things for the Royals to talk about, but mostly this game was just about getting a win. I don't think that even Mike Matheny thought that they covered themselves with glory, and he certainly knew that his starting pitcher, Brad Keller, really had to battle.
No, that usually doesn't turn out well. And, what amazing to be able to stay in the game. First of all, when your pitch count gets that high. Secondly, that you only give up one with that much work, that many pitches. It was a rough start, but I thought he got better as he went, and would have loved to have been able to pitch him for a couple more innings, but we just ran out of bullets.
David?
And Mike, I want to ask you about Hunter Dozier, not the home run, not the fly ball to the wall, but his fielder's choice in the fifth inning where he just busted his tail to keep it from being a double play. Can you just talk about the effort that goes into that and how important that is?
Yeah, that's a rally killer right there. If he doesn't hustle down the line, he came back. We were talking about how speed kills, and it keeps the inning alive to where we can put a 4 spot up there. But just those sort of things make a big difference. Situational hitting too. Look how it happened in the first, right? We get a guy over, we get a guy in. I still say that's the kind of team we're going to have to be, and we still got the ability to put together a big inning. We got the ability, like you said, with Doge. Happy to see him be rewarded. He did almost get the other one that flew out to the track, but giving us that third run lead in the ninth's a big deal, and to get him on a little bit of a positive thought pattern is a big deal also.
Nick?
Mike, for you, I'm curious, what's it going to be like to potentially have the stadium back at full capacity this week?
I just hope it's full. Every time we've added a little bit more, it has seemed significantly more. And, tried to downplay it a lot last year about not being a big deal. We just want to play baseball, but it's not the same without fans. And just like it's not the same with a few fans. Having that place hopping, and I hope we play really well at home. I said that last homestand. I think it's important for us when people make the investment of their time, their resources to come out and watch us. We make it something really memorable. And I know the organization, from the people in the parking lot to the ushers to the concessionaires, they do their part. We just got to continue to try and put a baseball product on the field that keeps people coming back.
As you could hear there, the Zoom had a little holiday feel to it from the Royals standpoint. When the questioners were on there, they sounded just kind of normal. And then when Mike Matheny was on there, he sounded like there were 18 people in the same room. I don't know what was going on with that. But anyway, it will be great to have the possibility of a big crowd on hand. I don't think on a Monday night, well, maybe because it's a holiday, who knows, against Pittsburgh, you're going to threaten capacity, but that is a possibility now as the Royals are at full capacity, and everybody enjoys having the more and more fans, more and more interaction with the fans, and more of a feel that we really are getting back to baseball. I think maybe one of the most impressive things on Sunday was certainly Scott Barlow, and he has pitched very, very well this year. He's got a 2 ERA, struck out a whole pile of batters. He's almost close to 2 batters struck out for every inning pitched, and he was dominant in this game, in a game where the other 3 pitchers were only acceptable. He came in and did his job and struck out 4 batters out of the 5 outs that he got. His slider was absolutely nasty. He didn't really even have to use his fastball that much, but he also was getting out some of the biggest hitters in the lineup, and that's something that he's really getting used to.
The way the past couple games been going is seen a trend kind of that lately. So, any part of the lineup, you're always kind of ready. You never know necessarily exactly when you're going to go in, but yeah, usually the past couple games been kind of coming in kind of that, 3-4 hole. It seems like so.
And what was sort of your approach there? I mean, because obviously, when you come in with those 2 guys on, you're facing the biggest hitters in their lineup, stepping into the boxes, the potential go-ahead runs there.
Yeah, it really just boils down to just executing, whatever's kind of working that day. Today, slider definitely threw a bunch of those, but it felt really good today. So, that part of the lineup, going through game plans and kind of strategizing on, how to approach those guys, kind of matched up today with, with the slider and stuff, and felt good, and it worked. So,
anything else for Scott? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I was gonna say, did you feel, or did you know pretty much when you came in that you might be going, 1+ at that point?
Yeah, just every time I've kind of come off the mound, always kind of expecting that. You never know when you're going to either have just that inning or be sent back out again. So just trying to be in that mentality. You never know if you're going to be sent out again. So until they say you're done, never kind of check out. So kind of had an idea, maybe probably going another one. But regardless, you're always trying to keeping that good mindset. Always going another one.
Barlow and the Royals try to get back to 500 in the series against the Pirates. They could do it on Monday night with a victory. Sometimes when the Royals these days will drop 2, maybe 3 games below 500, the question gets asked if they are ever going to get back to 500. We'll see this time around. That's kind of a fun thing to talk about as the Royals come back home for a homestand with the, as I mentioned a couple of times, the possibility of full capacity at Kauffman Stadium as the Royals get the feel-good and somewhat unusual win by the way they played on Sunday. Up next, we'll talk a lot of soccer and a little bit of what one of my friends calls American throwball. That's NFL football as opposed to soccer. Coming up next on Monday Musings, Danny SportsWrap right here on the Reasonably Irreverent podcast. And, of course, Monday Musings is brought to you by Dillon's Heating and Cooling.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
I'm here with Joe Spiker, owner of Easton Roofing, and boy, we had to negotiate a million things in 2020, but Easton Roofing navigated them all. As 2021 rolls out, what should we expect this coming storm season?
Well, Danny, it'll be the same thing as it is every year. The storms come, and you've got the guys out knocking on doors offering quote-unquote free inspections. Be wary as a homeowner. If somebody's knocking on your door, they probably need the work, and if they need the work that bad, they may be willing to do something untoward to get it. So if somebody knocks on your door, says they want to give you a free inspection, just tell them have a great day and give us a call. We'll come out for free and give you a good, honest opinion as to whether or not you need to do anything at all with your roof.
And what's the best way to get in touch with Easton Roofing?
You can always find us online at eastonroofing.com or give us a call at 913-257-5426.
Easton Roofing. Integrity matters.
Hey, everyone. This is Matt Llewellyn for the 23rd Street Brewery. Thank you so much for supporting local restaurants, especially through this pandemic. And you know what? We're almost through it. At the 23rd Street Brewery, we have brought in a few more tables. You can wear a mask if you want or not. It's your choice. Other than that, we're open 11:30 every single day. So come see us at the 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence.
It's time for another informative discussion with David Schmidt from Pro Millennial. David, you like to stress the strength of service that you get.
Here at Pro Millennial, you'll find yourself surrounded by service, and we're talking about people that know the solutions to the problems. We actually have 4 assigned reps working at our client service. Things get very, very complicated in your estate plan and everything else, and we're here to serve.
And you like to make it have a personal touch, too, that people know that they're not just a name on a balance sheet.
I think that's even more important the further we go down the road and what hidden legislation is going to be coming up with anti-Robin Hood sentiment and everything else. I think they're going to go back to having people in this financial service business know their clients, know the relationship well, make sure it's a good fit for both.
To get more information and advice from David, visit promillennial.com or call 816-221-7775. That's 816-221-7775 for David Schmidt and Pro Millennial. We're here with Michael Barber, the CEO and founder of Microlight Corporation of America, the world leaders in laser therapy. And Michael, tell us a little bit about your product.
Our device is using a particular wavelength and power to reduce pain and swelling. My background is surgical lasers, but I've been involved with this particular device now for about the last 20 years, actually.
And I know that it works because I've had it used on me as well. And tell us about the relationship you have with your company and Canaway.
It's what I call a strategic business relationship in that Canaway, the leader in the field of the cannabinoid systems and CBD oil, but our device used in conjunction with Canaway CBD oil gives a better pain relief outcome for the patient.
And if you want to get that pain relief outcome like I did, you can reach their local representative, Sherry McCants, at 515-208-6312. That's 515-208-6312.
If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at danny@dannyclinkscale.com. Look forward to hearing from you.
Let me welcome you back with a bit of an alliteration. It was a scintillating soccer Saturday, if that is your thing, and it certainly was my thing on Saturday as I watched about 190 minutes of high-quality and very exciting soccer. In the afternoon, the Champions League final, and at night, Sporting Kansas City's first game at Children's Mercy Park in front of a full crowd. Actually, because of limitations over in Porto, Portugal, where the Champions League, there were actually more people at Children's Mercy Park for the sporting match than there were for the Champions League matchup between Chelsea and Manchester City that we'll get to in a couple of minutes here. But it was a festive crowd, over 20,000, an electric Children's Mercy Park, and it would just get more electric as it went along, and a game that really could have been exciting for the home crowd, but not quite as exciting because Sporting was so dominant, was really made extra exciting because Houston, against the run of play early on in the game, surged ahead with their lone shot attempt in the first half in the 13th minute, as Matias Vera would get his first ever goal off of a steal and a turnover for Sporting Kansas City. But really, this game was about total domination. But once Houston got the lead, just as they had down in Houston a couple of weeks ago where they held that lead 1-0, they were behind the ball the entire time, bunkering in, parking the bus, whichever phrase you like to use, and Sporting was surging and attacking and providing dangerous opportunities, but Houston was very solid in their defense, and indeed, they kept that lead all the way through halftime, despite the fact that Sporting Kansas City was really marauding, and some good saves by their keeper. Early in the second half, they got a great play from defender Adam Lundqvist, who saved his team with a goal line clearance after Yadi Kinda slipped a superb through ball to the feet of Shalaway in the 50th minute. But then the real electricity started in the 51st minute when Gianluca Busio lined up for a free kick 28 yards out and put on a world-class show, as with the keeper not even moving, he went up and over the wall, hit it off the post, and in. Nobody could have stopped that. The best keeper in the world would have been helpless against it, and Busio tied things up at 1 apiece. Momentum was on Sporting side. Houston almost ticked off a leading goal, but a really nice stop by Tim Melia on a breakaway by Urruti saved the day there. That was really sort of one of only a handful of chances that Houston would have the entire game, really. But Polito earned Sporting's penalty on the hour mark, suffering a foul from Houston captain Bontek Garcia, and he dumped the ensuing spot kick with a perfect finish into the right corner. No chance for the keeper again, and the Mexican international not only gave his team the lead 2-1, he leads MLS during the month of May with 5 goals, 4 goals and an assist during the current 3-match winning streak. By the way, Sporting has scored 3 goals in each of their last 3 games. That's the first time they've done that in 14 years, and Polito has 17 combined goals and assists in as many starts since joining Sporting ahead of the 2020 campaign. The only thing that has slowed him in his time at Sporting has been injury. And now it's just a party at Children's Mercy Park. Watching on television, it was fun to see the really faces of the fans celebrating and enjoying themselves. And Rob Heineman was pouring beers, and Jimmy Nielsen, who was announced to be put in the Hall of Fame, also was doing the same. And Sporting added a third in the 65th minute. It was a beautiful counterattack that saw Kyrie Shelton and Busio combined to set up Yadi Kinda. He slotted a low inside shot near the post from the left side, third goal of the season. You can say that it was the game winner. You can say that it provided the cushion. I don't know if it would have played out in other fashion, because the final score would become 3-2 when Houston scored basically on the last kick of the game. They didn't have any opportunity whatsoever to tie it late, but they dominated the proceedings, did Sporting Kansas City. They look like a team that can really challenged for the Supporters' Shield. They're only 1 point out in this one. They had 21 shots in the game, 9 shots on goal. They had 11 corner kicks. completely dominant performance against the Houston team that does like to play the way they did, which is to defend and counterattack. Well, they defended fairly well for a long time, but they didn't get much counterattack, and it was really a fun evening at Children's Mercy Park. And once again, Peter Vermees is like a proud papa these days. Sporting got off to a kind of a shaky start in their first 2 or 3 games, but they are humming right now.
Tonight, from opening whistle to, basically to the end, we were in control of the game. We, just us with the ball, and the way we dominated from that perspective, and the number of chances, and just our attitude and patience was tremendous.
Tell us about the development of Alan this match. Thank you.
Yeah, look, Alan, I always say that Alan has he has an inteligencia de calle. He has incredible street smarts for the game. He knows what the team needs at certain specific times, and he always knows how to provide it. He was excellent tonight. Again, I think the fourth, the chance we had late in the game where Remy Walter kind of dribbled in and shot it to the goalkeeper. I think that ball was intended for Allen. I think he was in a great position. But I think overall in the game, he was very, very good. He was just very active. He played in between the lines at a very, very high level.
Muzio's goal, can we classify that into a world-class classification again?
Oh, for sure. That's what I'm happy about is that people are getting a chance to see what I see every day in that kid, and that is that he's not only an incredible talent, but he's incredibly mature for his age. The things that he's able to pull off on a regular basis and do it consistently is incredible. He's just got a great attitude, and I don't think that he gets the recognition that he deserves. He is a fantastic player. He is a great kid, and he continues to display what a great soccer player he is every time he steps on the field.
Next game is in 2 weeks due to the international break. How do you keep them going?
Yeah, you always have to have a good balance between a little bit of rest, and trying to keep the guys in rhythm with, playing, but you have to be careful. So it's a fine balance. It's really what it is. But usually when you come back after 2 weeks and having a week off, both teams are a little bit rusty, and we'll try to do everything we can to keep the guys in form if possible, but it won't be easy.
We talk about the crowd a lot. You've had reduced, but today full capacity. Not so much the importance, but just what are the emotions that you hear the roar of the crowds and the boos and the cheers? Just what are those emotions like?
Yeah, look, I was waiting for somebody to ask a question about the crowd. The first thing I'll say is that I think if you're a fan and you come and watch the game today, you're incredibly entertained. So I applaud the players for that. Tremendous effort from that point of view. But I said this from day one when, everything shut down and then we couldn't have fans in the stands. At the end, the game is about the fans. And if they're not in the stadium, the environment just doesn't exist. And so, Tab Ramos, the coach of Houston, is obviously a friend of mine, and we go back a long way. And if you're, I don't know if they put it on TV, but right before the match started, we both kind of came together right before the game started, and we both were saying the same thing to each other, which is it's great to have the fans here. It just changes everything, and this is what we do this for, right? It's for the fans, and so it was a tremendous environment. They were great. They were so loud. They were so energetic. They haven't lost their connection to the team. It actually was. It was just rekindled tonight, and it was exciting. It was exciting for us to be able to win the game, entertain, and give them for sure a good taste leaving tonight.
Riding this hot streak, Sporting will take next weekend off, and they'll be back in action on the 12th of June as Austin comes to town, the expansion side, and Sporting Kansas City will get a chance to rest up and get their legs fresh and try not to get stale. They probably would rather continue to play right now as good as they're playing. But indeed, great night at Children's Mercy Park. 3-2 victory for Sporting, not as close as the score would indicate, and they will be in action in a couple of weeks. As I mentioned in the afternoon in Porto, Portugal, it was the Champions League final, the top club championship in all of Europe, and one of the biggest prizes in all of the sport, and certainly the biggest prize for the club teams of Europe, and one of the keynote events in the world of soccer in the entire world. It lived up to it. It was really a fantastic game, especially in the first half before Chelsea would score their goal. They would eventually win it 1-0. Up until the time that they scored, both teams were having a lot of opportunities, and it was an electric atmosphere, and all the game lacked really was a goal. Now, it couldn't keep up that momentum once Chelsea got the goal, and we'll talk about that in a minute, because then Chelsea was playing superb defense, allowing the Manchester City team to have possession, but not really allowing them to create many opportunities in the game. So it wasn't quite as exciting in the second half, but it was technically absorbing, and it was really, really an enjoyable game to watch. Pep Guardiola, the Manchester City coach, who is widely regarded as probably the best coach in the sport, is known for pulling some surprises in big competitions. Now, he has won everything there is to win in the world of soccer, but he has not won the Champions League with Manchester City. They've won just about everything else, and he did pull a surprise, as the pre-match expectation had been that he faced an either-or question between Fernandinho and Rodri in defensive midfield. What he decided to do was pick neither and not have a defensive midfielder. He put a lineup out there with attacking midfielders and wingers, and thought that he could overwhelm Chelsea with that attacking force, and it was something that just didn't work and will be certainly criticized rather widely. In fact, most people will always have to have the caveat that they love Pep Guardiola and they think he's a great coach, but that maybe he made a mistake in this one. No defensive midfielders perhaps were the reason for the one goal of the game, as Chelsea cut through them for the goal late in the first half. The move started with their keeper, Edward Mendy. He passed off to Chilwell, a little layoff from Ben Chilwell to Mason Mount, who looked up the field and drilled a beautiful 40-yard pass to Kai Havertz. The German was off to the races, slipped himself around the goalkeeper Ederson, and then just rolled it into the empty net for that goal. And that really was all that Chelsea would need, because they played fantastic defense the rest of the game. Manchester City would end up with 68% possession in the game, but that really didn't matter because they did not create good chances. Now, they were certainly hurt by the fact that Kevin De Bruyne was hurt in the 57th minute. He's one of the best players in the world. Kind of a cynical tackle by Antonio Rudiger, who was wearing a face mask, and actually he contacted De Bruyne in the face with that face mask, and De Bruyne was knocked silly and out of the game, and he is one of the best setup and scoring players in all of the sport. That certainly hurt, but I don't know if the way that Thomas Tuchel's defense was set up, the coach who took over in mid-season for Chelsea and led them to the highest heights of the sport for a club team, and he was in this competition last year as the coach for Paris Saint-Germain, and he lost in that particular final, and now he was victorious and now has an FA Cup as well as a Champions League trophy in his first half season with Chelsea. And history was made from the United States standpoint as well, as Christian Pulisic came on as a substitute in the second half, and he became the first U.S. player to ever play in a Champions League final. In fact, he could have even sealed the game on a counter when Havertz played it to Pulisic, who had a really good opportunity to dink one home and make it 2-0. He missed, much to Tuchel on the sidelines' frustration, but still he provided some spark and became that historic first U.S. player to play in a Champions League final. And it was a great event for Chelsea. It was a great event for soccer. They are just getting their fans back, period. 1 or 2 games is all that they have played in front of fans now, and the Champions League game did have fans. It was up to what you would hope for from a Champions League final, and all credit to Chelsea. I'm an Arsenal fan, and Chelsea is their main rival along with Tottenham, so that doesn't mean I'm really all that excited about it, but I actually I'm not as rabid as about that and the rivalries, and so I have no disdain for Chelsea. I like watching Premier League games across the board, and their coach is kind of a really fun guy to watch on the sidelines, and Chelsea with Christian Pulisic has probably created a lot of Chelsea fans in the United States, and they get the big prize of European football, the Champions League. In the American style of football, the Kansas City Chiefs took the holiday weekend off after phase 1 of their 3 phases of OTAs, and my thoughts on OTAs are that if you're a diehard football fan and you can't get enough football information, you can dig in and ask questions about Orlando Brown and listen to Andy Reid talk about the rookies and things like that. I guess my particular take, as it were, is if you're all into that, there are many, many sources to get more information about football players running around in shorts and T-shirts and doing football kind of stuff. But to me, it's not exactly riveting news. So head to the Team News and Buzz page at DannyClinkscale.com or anywhere else where you get your football news for more about that. I'm certainly not going to dig in on the OTAs for you as we wrap up this edition of Monday Musings, Danny Sports Wrap for this Memorial Day, and I hope even despite the gloomy weather on Memorial Day that you can have yourself a good time before you get back to all the regular things that we do in life that are getting far more regular. And isn't that a good way to conclude this particular edition? Some normalcy right here.
We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new. This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like
Dillon's Heating and Cooling, treating you like family with expert and affordable HVAC services.